In this video, I'm reacting to TikToks of people in crushing student loan debt. Make sure you watch all the way to the end because not only will you see some insane numbers, you'll also get some tips on how to manage student loans and some things that I wish I knew and that I wish other people knew. Let's get started.
Loan debt? Yes, I'd say maybe 15,000. Do you have student loan debt?
Yeah.
Can I ask you how much student loan debt you have?
5-ish K that I would have to pay off soon.
Okay, so let's take a look and figure out what the average student loan balance is. So according to the Education Data Initiative, the average federal student loan debt is $37,338. Private student loan debt is a lot higher. It's $54,921. That's a lot.
Not that bad yet because it's only first semester.
How much would you say you'll have towards the end of school?
Probably 50K.
Do you have student loan debt?
So yes. She is right
How
on
much
track
student loan
to
debt
be-
do you have?
Honestly, I would say I'm pretty privileged in comparison to a lot of other people. I have under 10,000, but I have friends that have 40,000, so I can't complain.
Do you have student loan debt?
Oh god, I don't even know. I'm probably gonna take out so much money.
How much do you think you would have to take out?
For another 3 years, I guess I'm gonna take out 60.
Do you have student
It's sad that this is the case. It's sad that people have to borrow to get an education. It's also sad that these loans are backed by the government and colleges now know that they could just jack the prices up without any real repercussions. That's my beef with the college loan thing, is that colleges aren't held accountable. My belief is that colleges should say this percentage of people get these jobs after graduation, they make this much money, and they have data to back it up. I run a business where I have to have real results and provide real tangible outcomes for people. Colleges don't necessarily have that, and I don't think that's fair. So the problem with the income-based repayment is that you're going to pay even more interest over the long term because it just stretches it out. The whole point of paying off debt is to get money, put it towards your debt. Get money, put it towards your debt. You're not trying to stretch it out as long as possible. Now, of course, I understand that if you need to manage your cash flow to buy a house, you do what you got to do. But income-based repayment, you got to be really careful with that.
If you're thinking about paying all of your student loans off, maybe just hold off for 2 seconds. This year, I paid off all of my student loans. Yay, right? You would think. But no, even when you think you're doing everything right, somehow in this financial system, it bites you in the butt. Okay, let me just explain to you what happened. When you take out student loans, you start developing credit. At some point, someone is going to ask you what your credit score is, whether you're trying to take out a loan.
I'm taking out loans to buy a house, renting an apartment, getting a car, but you can get to a point in your life where your credit score doesn't really matter.
To buy a house, or whether you're trying to get approved for an apartment, take out a loan on a car, etc. So anyways, fast forward, I'm $30,000 in debt. I decide, you know what? I'm gonna work my butt off to pay off all of those loans, and this year I paid them all off.
That's
now,
good.
logically in your brain, you'd be like, she paid off all of her debt, her credit score is gonna skyrocket, right? No, it tanked.
So that happens because it affects certain factors like your credit mix, credit utilization, average history if it gets wiped off your credit. I don't know if that happens or not. And while in most cases your credit score will dip when you pay off a loan and get it off of the books, it doesn't mean that you should not pay off that debt. The damage isn't going to be permanent. Your score will recover, all else being equal.
How I got out of $120,000 in student loan debt in 6 years. And to give you some context, I am a pharmacist, so I do have a 6-figure salary, but I was not spending it wisely. So I was a high earner, but I was broke. Step number 1, find your why. You kind of got to get pissed off about this. The second thing I had to do was figure out where my money was going. I knew I made some, but I didn't know where it went. And I did.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, so she found her why. And I know that sounds like cheesy advice, like find your why, but it really does help. If you have a family and you're trying to make your family a little bit more financially independent, that can help. If you have a certain aspiration that you want to achieve in life, that can also help. But just getting serious on where you want to go and why is huge. Also, she's going to talk about having a budget. Having a budget is important because it lets you tell your money where to go instead of your money telling you where it went.
By creating a budget. Not only could I plan for my expenses and get an understanding of what it actually costs to live my life, I could also see where I was bleeding money so I could put that extra money to my debt. Step 3 for me was decluttering. I'm the first to admit that I was a full-blown shopaholic and I was wasting my money on total crap that I never used. I needed to learn to act.
Lots of people do though. Lots of people waste their money on total crap that they never even use. They buy a bunch of clothes, they just stick it in the closet. They spend money on coffee, on Starbucks, on Dunkin', and I love Dunkin', but I don't spend hundreds of dollars per month there.
Actually use the clothes that I spent that money on, and I either styled it or I sold it. And that brings me into step 4, which was increasing my income. Even though my pharmacist income really...
Yeah, obviously increasing your income because all else being equal, when you get more money, you can put more money towards your debt. That is the magic formula. That's the solution. Get the money, put the money towards your debt. So thank you so much.
I have to die before all my student loans are due because there's no way I can pay them and survive.
These student loans have been a noose around my neck for 20 years. I, at this very moment, owe $99,000. It finally dropped under $100,000.
But that interest rate, though, 3.25 in this current environment, that's pretty darn good. It's not good to have student loan debt, don't get me wrong, but 3.25, woo, that's an attractive interest rate.
And I have paid back on the federal loans over 186. So I have paid back nearly twice what I originally borrowed.
When I graduated from medical school, my total education debt was somewhere around $225,000 to $250,000. So 9 of the last 10 years, I've been making payments, but the debt has now ballooned to $355,000.
I mean, the numbers are so unreal and astronomical that I can't even fathom making a payment.
That's really sad. And she appears to be a middle-aged lady in her 50s, maybe. Let's take a look and see how many people in their 50s have student loan debt. So according to the Education Data Initiative, again, 28% of adults in their 30s have a student loan debt, 17% of adults in their 40s have student loan debt, and 12% of adults in their 50s have a student loan debt. That's crazy. So you could walk past 150-somethings and 12 of them are buried in student loan debt? Something's got to give here.
My student loans were originally $34,000, and this year they have grown to over $500,000.
But how though? How though? Because I maybe I'm just stupid. I don't know. Maybe I am. But it appears to me that she is just paying the interest and not enough, and it's just growing and growing and growing and growing. 34,000 growing to 528,000 is just, it's unbelievable is what it is.
I mean, what am I going to do? They want $5,600 and something a month. I can't make that. That's basically that's what I make.
You know, if I had that ability to talk to my younger self, I would have never, ever gone for that law degree.
I know a lot of people feel the same way. If they could go back in time, they would not do it.
Here's 6 ways you can still cancel your federal student loan debt from the New York Times. This should be interesting. Reason number 6, death. This is something that most people would not choose as a solution to their debt burden.
Well, technically it works, but you probably don't want to do that. Death.
Hey, Dr. Anderson, how much student loan debt did you graduate with?
That's kind of complicated. 0, but I had a 21-and-a-half-year obligation to the United States Air Force.
Hey, Doc.
So I love how he says it's complicated, but then explains it in a few seconds. I wonder what the average medical student loan debt is. So one more time, the Education Data Initiative coming in hot with another win for us. The average medical school debt is $202,453, excluding pre-medical undergraduate and other educational debt. But another crazy stat is that 73% of medical school graduates have educational debt. That means 27% of med school students are graduating with $0 in debt. What are they doing?
Student loans. $37,313.
Yes, sir.
Is that deferred?
Well, until right now, yeah.
Well, what's the plan on that?
They're at 4%, so minimum monthly payments till they're paid off. I feel like it's a waste of $37,000 to just start at it if I'm going to get average 10 point whatever with dividends reinvested in the S&P 500 on average.
So what he's doing is playing the arbitrage game where he has an interest rate of 4% and he believes that he can get 10% by investing in the stock market or real estate or whatever his investment is, or thinks that he can get that 6% spread relatively easily. It's a good idea on paper. A lot of times people get afraid. A lot of times people will make bad decisions that cost them in the long run.
Wouldn't this be nice just to wipe out?
The student loans, you'd pay them off?
I probably would. Because I think...
So Graham would not play the arbitrage game.
Financially, yes, you could arbitrage your money. And you could make the, 8% while you're paying out 4%.
So you're talking emotionally.
I just think, yeah.
So it would emotionally weigh on you. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
I think if it emotionally weighs on someone and it's a low rate, then I'm like, do it. That, I feel nothing with it.
Okay, so Caleb is the exception to the rule. I actually work with financial advisors in my business, and I hear stories all day long of people who say one thing and do another when it comes to their money. If you can use some sort of force to just pay it and forget about it, that's probably going to be better for you. Are there exceptions? Absolutely. There are people out there who act like robots and get it done, but that's not most people.
Hi. If you're thinking about taking out student loans for school, but you're like, how does that work? I'm going to explain to you as your internet big sister. So there are two types of loans you can get. You can get a private loan or a public loan. Currently, around 43 million Americans have federal student loan debt, and the average amount of debt is around $28,000.
No, it's not $28,000. We just looked it up. It's actually 37 for public and 50-something for private.
How it works. Let's say you want to take out $40,000 for school, so $10,000 a year. Let's say you go for a 15-year loan with 6% interest, so your monthly payments are around $337. But when you are done paying your loan, you will not have paid $40,000. You will have paid $60,000. The bank is basically charging you a $20,000 fee for letting you borrow that money.
Yes, that's what they do. And she says here that's how banks get so rich. Yes, because they charge interest for their money. If you have money and you lend it out to someone, you're probably going to want interest on that money.
Banks get so rich. So this is why it is really important to get a low interest rate. And to make matters worse, a lot of people don't know this. In the beginning, most of your monthly payments isn't going towards your loan. It is going straight towards the interest in the bank's pockets.
And that's how these loan balances get so big, is because people are just paying part of the interest and it just grows and grows and grows and grows. Like that lady who had $528,000 of debt.
Because they pay themselves first. So that is why, when the government put a pause on student loan payments and dropped the interest rate to zero, like 1% of Americans kept paying them because they knew 100% of their money was going towards the loan.
Isn't that sad? When the interest rate dropped to 0%, she's, according to her, I don't know if this is true or not, but according to her, only 1% of Americans kept paying it? That's nuts. No wonder the debts are so high.
The interest. So anyway, take loans out, don't take loans out, I don't care. But just be sure you're investing your time and money well and try to get that interest rate number as low as possible.
Well, it's kind of hard to do now.
So I went to college in 2016, and my freshman year, I had to take out a couple of loans so I could go to school. You know, like most people do. After that, I worked multiple jobs, so I wouldn't have to take out any more loans. In fact, by my senior year, I paid for the whole thing by myself. So the loans I'm talking about are the loans from 2016. My mom, being the kind, wonderful, amazing human being that she is, took on one of those loans for me. Like, she's been paying it. And she has been paying it every single month since I took it out in 2016.
Okay, so your mom is a wonderful, compassionate, kind person who has helped you. I applaud that. I love that behavior. Can't say I would do the same, but I'm a big meanie.
Keep in mind, it is now 2023, so we're talking 7 years later. She told me as of a couple of weeks ago that she still owes the same amount of money on that loan as she did in 2016.
That's crazy. It's just money in and money out. You have to call these places, ask them to give you the numbers. What is it going to take? Why am I not paying this down? Have someone sit down and talk to you. Explain the numbers. Don't settle for just being ignored. Don't do that. Hound these places and get a straight answer from them. Say, what do I need to pay to have this go down? What do I need to do to pay this off in 10 years or whatever your goal is? Get a straight answer.
Can't even make a dent in it. This is an adult woman with an extremely stable job and a house.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to take this video because it's just ridiculous. Let me go move on to the next one.
We bailed out the banks, but not everybody's a bank. We bailed out the airlines, but not everybody's an airline. Now we want to bail out students. Not everybody's a student, so suddenly that's not fair. Honey, this is America. Here.
You must have got it confused because ain't nothing fair around here. I should have been an airline or a bank.
Apparently, some people think that graduating with $250,000 in student loans but a $190,000 salary means that you can easily repay that debt in 2 years.
The average American savings rate is dismal. According to the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis, the average savings rate is 3.9%. So if you have, let's just say, a $200,000 salary, which is great, and you save 0.039% of it, that's $7,800. That's not going to make a dent. And that's taking all of your savings and putting it towards your debt.
I completely recognize that I was privileged enough to graduate with the best case salary scenario. But even with that high salary profile, repaying your student loans is not a walk in the park. For the past 3.5 years, I put $2,000 every month and half of all my bonuses towards loan repayment. And guess how much I have left? $175,000. That's right. I'm not even halfway done. But it's true I could be done already. My classmate who paid...
Yeah, I mean, that's just really sad. And if you're someone who is struggling with student loan debt, realize that there is hope. You can get out of it. Other people have.
I'm 59 years old, and my credit report shows that I owe $258,000 in student loans.
That's a lot. Remember, we just talked about how 12% of people in their 50s have student loan debt. I don't know if 12% have close to that.
Is there any way I can make that go away?
Good Lord. You're 58?
I'm 59.
59. What did you study and when?
Well, actually, I have 3 degrees, and with parents and students going to college, They make the parents do the Parent Plus loans and pay for them.
Hold on, you said they make them?
Nobody makes you. No one.
My son wasn't able to get the tuition for his classes, and I had to do Parent Plus loans the whole 4 years for him.
Yeah.
Okay, so this guy has student loan debt from his child as well.
Not go to that school. Yeah, okay, so you did.
I mean, community college is free or very close to free. It's not the same as a private institution or a public institution, at least.
Yeah. So what is your household income?
My regular job is like $60,000 a year. I have a mortgage.
Oh, that's crazy. So let's do 258,000 divided by 60,000. That means if he didn't save anything, didn't buy anything, and he just paid every single penny of his income toward the debt, it would take 4.3 years.
Hi, I'm Sam, and I'm a stupid millennial who has college debt from not only 1 degree, but 2. I put that one in a bigger frame because it cost me more money. And to top it all off, both of my degrees are in social work. Yikes, stupid millennial.
So, I mean, social work is something that's admirable. You're helping people. But the average social worker salary is relatively low. Let's look it up. So it looks like the average social worker is $38,000 to $85,000 per year. That's a huge range. Okay, so I have no idea. It looks like this place says the national average salary for social workers is $55,356 per year. So I am not sure. All right, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any suggestions for what I should react to next, let me know in the comments below, and I appreciate you.